What's up, everyone? Welcome to episode 12 of our Build in Public series, where I, the founder and CEO of Nurl, walk you through what we're doing on a week-to-week basis leading up to our private beta release to our early adopters and our beta users for our new product, Sanctum, which is an app that makes building and designing tabletop roleplay games easy and streamlined and more collaborative and more accessible than ever before. And this is not scripted. If you think I'm reading a script right now or in any of these videos, you're wild, you're wrong, you're so wrong. I don't roll like that. This is all improv. This is a one-shot video. What you see is what you get. I do not edit these. So if you're not familiar with what we're building a product called Sanctum. And right now, for tabletop roleplay game designers, you have to use Google Docs, Google Sheets, do it all yourself. So, pass that to your publisher is using like a layout tool and yada, yada, yada. It's so difficult, and none of it makes sense because they were tools that were never made to design tabletop roleplay games. We are building that tool that is made to design tabletop roleplay games, but not only that, to create a collaborative environment, a community where all the designers of the industry and people who want to become designers can come, learn, and build off of each other. In an environment that software developers have had for literally generations at this point. And so that's Neural Sanctum. We don't use AI. Sanctum is not an AI product, and we don't have AI features. It's just unnecessary. We're not interested in that. That's all the disclaimers. And so let's get into the good stuff. So, last time we left off, we showed that essentially, by existing, we've made history by streamlining, being able to essentially extend other systems and create your own kind of game environment by what we're doing is we're allowing you to publish files and then install those published files as a dependency. Well, we're going back to our version control. We provide real version control. I always say real version control because you might think if you don't have a software development background, well, I do have, I use version control all the time. Google Docs has history. That's not version control. That is trash to make you think that you're using version control. So what we're doing is software development level version control, but we're applying a layer over that kind of manages it all for you so you don't have to understand it because it is pretty complex when you're approaching it first. And so a part of that is we're automatically saving updates that you make in the background, which we'll see today and we've shown in the past. But now, what we're showing this week is you can now do what we call branch into your own scoped environment. So let's back up and let's just think for a second in the real world flow where I'm a designer with what you currently have, the tools today. So I'm using Google Docs to write up my new book, but also in this weird conundrum, create a system that doesn't make sense because it's just a notes app. It's not like managing game mechanics. So this means I either have to use someone else's system, which is totally fine, and I have to be familiar with that system, most importantly, or I have to understand dice mechanics and the building blocks and kind of design concepts for creating a game system, like your core. Oh, excuse me, got a ghost over here. Youst. You understand the concepts of like core resolution. What's your core resolution module? And so what we're doing is we're giving you those tools, including dice mechanic tools, that helps streamline that process and helps you to understand how to build better game systems for a game system file. And so whether you're working as a solo person or on a team, essentially what version control, how it stands today is we can collaborate on the same documentation. Eventually, someone's going to do something that I don't like, and it's going to mess up the file. And whoopsie daisy, now we have to rely on this weird, very shallow history tree that Google provides that's not really reliable, depending on where you go. Or we get super hardcore and waste more time duplicating documents, and now our storage is filling up. And eventually, if that workflow gets intense and you're able to scale as a designer, like you're eventually going to run out of storage. But it is really hard to do on Google. But they are moving everything into this one cloud space, so it's going to be a lot easier to fill up that space very quickly, you're going to find out. So that's not ideal. Not ideal at all. In software development, since like the 70s, we had a much better way, and I'm going to show you that way now. So in Sanctum, we have our repositories and just a high level updates, like little nice to haves. We've updated our badges just to be a little more consistent, cleaner with different sizes. Now, more consistently, we have this same, what we call a visibility badge, what your permissions are. They're now shared within all the locations that permissions exist. So before they were kind of individual, and now we're using the same one. So you'll see these same icons. So if I go to let's go to our open source game, but if I go into my admin only game, you can see it's still the lock private within the file. That's a private file. It's a lock private. So it's all consistent. We're tying it all together. Likewise, likewise, we have a new, you know what? I'm spoiling things. Let's go to our open source repository. Okay, so let's talk about branching. I'm going to pause there to what I was saying, because what you'll notice first is now we have this new global badge that has a little branch icon, and it says main. That correlates with this menu here. And if we go to branches, we see, and we have always seen, this is something that we've shown in the past. We shipped this a long time ago, but we have our main branch that's a protected branch. This means that essentially this is the one branch you cannot delete. This is ideally the space, the workspace, and that's what you can think of a branch. Maybe we should rename that to workspace to make it more layman's terms or something. I don't know. You tell me in the comments. But each branch is essentially a scoped workspace for you to do whatever you want without affecting the other branches or the other workspaces. So in software development, you always have a source of truth. That is always called the main branch, because if you think of a tree, it's the trunk of the tree. It's the main branch. Okay, so the main within Sanctum, this is where ideally you want everything to live that you want to send to publishing when you're ready to go to print, when you're ready for your illustrator or layout designer, editor, whoever. Ideally, they would be viewing this stuff in the main branch while you're creating other branches to work out of that doesn't affect them. And so this is the beauty of branches. This is real version control of what I'm talking about. So first and foremost, just to call out, you'll always see when you're in a repository, you're always going to have an indicator up top here to let you know what branch you're in. But let's see this in action. Like if you're new to software development, I could have just said a bunch of words that really mean nothing to you. So let's see what this means. So notice I'm in the main branch. So let's pretend we're just starting out this repo. We just created our account. We're setting up our game. And ideally, what I recommend is starting with a canvas file. Of course, this is your idea thinking framework. So, who is this game for? Cool people. I'm just putting that in there just to show that let's pretend we've already did this and we know what game we want to build now. Okay, so now our thinking framework has revealed to me that we want to create our own system. That's going to be a custom system. But we also want to use another person's system. And so I'm going to create a system file. Now notice all of our files, we have a file devoted to core book, a file devoted to adventure, a file devoted to supplement. We have a lot of supplement designers in our early adopter group. And it's interesting to me, a lot of them say, oh, I just make supplements. I'm probably not the right person because it's like a big thing. And it's like, no, you're the perfect person because Sanctum makes design accessible to everyone, including streamlining supplement design. And so once we get to a supplement file, we'll show how that happens. But for now, let's create a system file. We noticed that because we just made this, it's now in the first of the order. All of the files, once you create them, are untitled. That's pretty standard. Notice our badges are a little more vibrant now that we have an official green palette, success palette. I'm going to go to settings just for our sake. I'm going to call this main branch system. This will come into play in the future here. So I'm going to save that. And to drive this home, let's go to our history. We see that we've done three things. We've created a canvas file, we created a system file, and we've updated the system file. And now if you hover over the title, if it's truncated like that, you'll see a tooltip of the full commit summary is what we call this. Okay, cool. So in all these tabs, pretty much except for branches, because you see everything, you have access to the branch menu. So here you can see all your branches and switch between them, or you could create a new branch. So within this branch menu, it will always create a branch from the current one you're in. If you want to be safe, maybe branching is new to you, you could go to the branches tab, create new branch, and this will tell you the context that you're in. This branch will be created from main to help out. They both do the same thing. So I'm going to go here and I try and give you a hint on good branch naming to use. Typically, in the future, hopefully, if we could get to this point, I'd love to have like a branch builder where we're automatically creating the branch name for you. For example, maybe in the future, we're not committing to this, but maybe we have a to-do list, an issue ticket, to where you can basically create a bunch of tickets on things you'd like to do. And within there, we have a create branch button, and we basically combine a few things like the title and stuff and create the branch name for you, make it super easy. But here we're manually creating it. So typically you want to do like a scope on what the thing is about and then a descriptive, unique branch name. Branches cannot be the same name by nature. So I'm going to do feature, and I'm going to do, I don't know, update system visibility. I think I spelled that right. All right, cool. Notice that I've immediately switched into it. I'm in that branch. You notice our global indicator changed. And oh my gosh, what happened to all the files? Well, we still have the history. We started from that point, but our branch essentially did not carry over any of those files because it's a new state. Now, in software development, you essentially are copying everything. We're not doing that here, although we probably should have. So this might be a bug. I need to look at this in the future, but I don't think it. I think we're just calling the wrong thing for this specific thing. Like we're filtering out the files in a way that we don't want to. So I'm not even worried about this. Not a big deal. Literally, we'll have it fixed in the next one. But to our point, let's create a system file, and we're going to name this one feature system, and we're going to change it to workspace, save, get rid of that toast, and now we have our file. We go to our history, and it's the same history with this new one. So this is where it's ironic that I literally just finished this and I tested like 500 different flows, and I totally skipped the the overview, bringing in the files that already exist plus the new ones. Okay. And yeah, I'll make that note. That's so funny. Okay, but to this point, I now have this scoped environment that I can do whatever I want in here because it doesn't affect the main branch, which is still the exact same state. If we go to the history, nothing has changed. My new changes are not in there. And so this is where branching is so powerful. Now I have these scoped workspaces that I can essentially work safely. And then when I'm ready, say, okay, now I'm ready to bring this new work into the main branch. And so that's where we go in the future. Once we launch our beta, we'll build that feature called pull request. It's essentially saying, I want to merge this branch with another branch, and it's more than likely always going to be the main branch because that's the one. And that's going to open up so many doors for new features. That's so exciting. That's going to allow people to give you another opportunity to stop, reflect, and review what you're trying to introduce into the main branch. For us to say, hey, this new stuff conflicts with what you have. Are you sure about that? And even I'm really excited about creating the opportunity of writing tests that will automatically run to say, for example, this system file should always be named feature system, or it should always have a standard 20 dice set. It should always have weapons blocks, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So, I mean, so many doors of future things we could do to make designing games so much more stable. But this in general is going to open the doors to so much more within working on teams and just the general workflow of designing games. And so that's it for today. We have branching, and it allowed me to find one tiny loophole that I overlooked of making sure all the files go copy from the same commit point to the other. And so that's it. So the other thing that we changed, not really that big of a deal, our dependencies now have a more dependency-like icon because we're reserving branches and forks with this icon. Now forks will kind of look the same as branches, so you'll notice they're kind of the same. So I do need to update this to be fork-like, but forks and branches kind of look the same. So that's it. This has been a massive, massive update. Branching is a very, very big deal. And if you're a solo developer and you're thinking, this is cool, but it's only for teams, you would be so wrong. Branching is so beneficial as a solo designer for you to safely, incrementally update your files in a way that allows you to stop, reflect on the new stuff, but also prevent breaking changes from moving fast and not having that framework in place that allows Sanctum to say, hey, this new thing conflicts with this old thing. Are you sure about that? And so I highly recommend using branching no matter if you're a solo, a supplement designer, or working on a massive team. Branches is going to change your life. And so now we have that full history. So in the future, and the next update, expect that when you do branch and you have history, that history of the files will be carried over. We're already carrying the history over. So it's literally just me fixing the file, like selecting the files that need to come into this view. Um, and so love the demo, got the demo bugs in. I love it. So that's it this week. This has been such a blast. Thank you to Adam Bass and Unit 6 on kind of encouraging me to build this feature into the beta pre-release version so that way everyone has access to it. It's just been so fun to do. The Git super nerdy stuff is just making me so happy, like building this in. And so I just really appreciate that. But that's it. Until next time, it only gets better for here. So I think we're in a good spot on the version control side to be able to move forward with files. So next up, we're going to be building out the blocks of the system file, which is essentially your Lego factory to say, I want my system to have a doomsday calendar. I want it to have HP. I want it to have weapons, etc., 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 whatever. It's literally whatever you want. You're creating your own custom Lego blocks that you'll be able to use in other files and in other ways in the future. It's going to be so powerful. So that's it. And peace.